Hey guys, want to give you a look inside my little Husky Ditty or Possibles bag. Hopefully you saw the kind of quick review I did on the package of 3 I picked up at Home Depot for $5. We're going to go through this, and mind you guys, this little Possibles bag is in its infancy. It's open to change. I'd definitely love to hear some recommendations on some things to add or things I should take out. I want to kind of work around with this a little bit, and definitely am very open to your input on this. So let's open this up, start pulling things out. All right, so first of all, I'm going to find a better way to carry these, but since I had the room, I just left them in there. These are furniture nails, which are basically big long tacks. I wanted these in there because they're very useful for say if you want to hang like a piece of plastic up from a tree to make like a windbreak, or you know, a small shelter or something like that. They're big enough for a ground plastic kind of thing if you're attaching it in that way. Plus they're kind of useful too if you're making certain tools or things like that, as a way just to keep small things together, keep, you know, things from flying away out of the wind. Like I said, I'm going to break these down to something smaller, but for now, they're in there. We got some wire. I forgot what gauge this is, but I think it's around 10 feet. We have some polyester thread. I think this is from like the sewing awl. I think this is in the neighborhood of about 15 or 20 feet. Right there, kind of wrapped up. You know, perfect for fishing or making repairs or anything like that you might have to do. Pair of clippers. Find these to be insanely useful out in the woods. Number one, you know, if you've ever, you know, done a lot of backpacking, eventually you're going to get toe jam. You're going to get to that point where your toes are going to smash into the front of your boots from going downhill. You know, I've bent a lot of toenails and lost a lot of toenails out in the woods. Very good to have. Plus, two guys, keeping your fingernails short. If you're out for 5 days in the woods, keeping your fingernails short will keep a lot of bacteria and gross stuff from getting under your nails, which will keep you healthier and less likely from getting Giardia or Cryptosporidium or one of the other parasites. You have to bear in mind that most people who get sick do not get sick from the water. They get sick from contaminating their own hands and then contaminating themselves. So keeping good short fingernails in the woods is actually really important to your health. Okay, we have just a small $1 roll of 8-pound fishing line. I'm probably going to keep this. I know you're saying, well, that's kind of big and bulky, but you know what? I see this as being able to be used as a bearing for a friction fire, for the bearing for the top block for making a friction fire. You could use this for any kind of maybe like a pulley for a snare, or some way to allow, you know, I see a lot of uses for it. So I kind of like it, and it weighs pretty much nothing. So this is 100 foot of 8-pound fishing line. We got some garden wire. This is coated garden wire. A little more flexible than the metal. This is really good, I find, for maybe you want to put 2 tarps together or something like that. Pretty handy, and it's not so rough on the material because it is coated. So I do tend to use this more for like tarps and things like that, whereas this might tear some stuff up. Okay, let's keep going. We got some eyelets. These are really handy if say for example you want to make a kind of bushcraft fishing pole. You can use these as your eyelets for that. Just put them into a green stick and run your fishing line through. You can kind of make a fake fishing rod. I know I've used these, not this size, but larger ones in the past for hanging gear up or hanging up bear bags. You can use them for a lot of different things, you know, so I'll probably keep these in there because they're nice and small. I might get a larger size to go with it. We're actually at about the bottom. I don't have a ton in here yet, guys. And some duct tape. Very thin duct tape rolled up, probably about 10 foot. Okay, and what else do I have that's not in here? I do have, it's actually out in my car and I forgot it. I do have a little dollar store package of of needles for thread. You know, they're different sized ones. There's some of the larger, like upholstery ones, down to the smaller, normal sized ones. I have a couple of safety pins, and I think a couple of thumbtacks also. And I also have a couple of corks that ended up as part of my fishing gear on this last trip that didn't make it through, but normally I keep a cork or two as part of the fishing kit. And I think I also need to add to it are fishing hooks. I, of course, got there and realized I didn't bring fishing hooks. So I'm keeping this in the spirit of a possibles bag. I'm not interested in putting in like fire starters and things like that because those are part of my other gear. They're not part of my possibles bag. The possibles bag for me is all about creating things and fixing and repairing. So it's about making snares, gathering food, things like that. It's about fixing gear. So I know, trust me, I usually keep 2 or 3, lighters on me. I usually keep a ferro rod or so, typically in my pocket. The entire time I was backpacking, I had this lighter with the lighter bro. So I typically have something like that always, plus a backup or so. And of course my water filtration is somewhere else, all that. But if you have any ideas, just little things like that for repairing gear, fixing gear, little things you can do for snares and all that, I definitely love to hear them. Especially little kind of cheap hardware type things. Because when I was reading Woodcraft by Nesmuk on my trip, I was reading that his possibles bag was pretty much just small things to repair his gear. He had thread, he had needles, he had stuff like that. So I want to kind of do the same and keep it very simple, small, and just those little things you may need to make repairs or fix stuff. So hope you enjoyed and would love to hear some